Welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. My name's Dan, and joining me is a man who always shoots first, Abe.
It's like I always say, Dan, premature for who?
We are only a few days away from Star Wars The Force Awakens from being released, and I have to tell you something, Abe. I'm sick of waiting.
I am so sick of waiting too. It's driving me out of my mind.
It's been a pure hype machine for years, and I cannot take it anymore. I need to know what happens in this movie. I just can't wait.
Well, you're in luck, my man. I talked to a psychic about it to get a psychic review of Star Wars.
A psychic?
A psychic.
For real.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like an outlandish idea, but I thought it'd be really fun. So I do want to warn you that there might be potential spoilers here.
From a psychic.
From a psychic.
Oh, all right. I guess without further ado, the Movies and Stuff exclusive, Abe talks to a psychic about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Why the hell not? Enjoy.
So, is it safe to call you a psychic?
Sure, yeah. I go by intuitive life coach. The reason I do that is just there's a lot of stigma around the psychic, the word psychic, what that means. And so I'd like to say I'm a psychic, but maybe not what you would expect a psychic to be.
How so?
I don't wear the big hoop earrings. I'm not into all of the crazy crystal ball. I'm much more down to earth than that. And so when I use the term psychic, I kind of get some interesting looks. I like to call myself intuitive.
Intuitive. I see. And how do you channel that intuition? I mean, do you have some method of divination you like to use?
I do typically use tarot. And the reason I do that is it takes the information coming into me and puts it in an outline form that makes delivery much easier. However, I don't need my cards. I do a lot of other work also. I work directly with what I call spirit guides, communicating messages for your life purpose. And I do a lot of other work with energy work and healing as well. And
this is what you do for people as a service.
It is, yes. I run guided life coaching. Actually, a website is www.guidedlifecoaching.com. It kind of goes over all of the services I offer. I do online and long distance services as well. But a majority of my customer base is local here in North Idaho where I live.
Oh, so we're pushing you outside of your comfort zone.
A little bit, yeah, but it's.
So this is primarily a Star Wars show. So I'm going to ask, are you a fan at all of Star Wars?
I love Star Wars. Yes. Mostly the original movies, I'd have to say. I don't know too much about the newer movies that came out, but I'm a huge fan, and I'd have to say that Han Solo was definitely my first crush ever. So.
Nice. Okay, well, Star Wars Episode VII comes out December 18th this year, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you need to know that or not.
It's helpful. Any info. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you about Star Wars to use your intuition to tell us a little bit. What do you think you'd be able to tell us about it?
Well, I don't know. I can pull the cards and just kind of see what pops up. I could probably focus in on how well the movie would be received by an audience, and I don't know. We could see just anything else that comes through. I honestly don't know anything about who's in the movie. I don't know much about any of that. So I guess we can really trust that what's coming through is not biased in that situation.
Well, your first crush has made a return to the Star Wars movies. I want to tell you.
Wonderful.
Yes, Han Solo will be back.
Okay. Well, I guess I am going to have to go see it then.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, do I need to ask any specific questions, or are you able to do this by yourself?
Well, why don't we start general? I'll pull some cards now and just see what's going on here.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. So, looking here right off the bat, the feeling I get is that I think for the first several weeks that it's open, there will be some business, but I don't think it's going to be as widely received as they are imagining right now. And I think even you telling me that Harrison Ford is coming back into the picture kind of indicates that they're trying to bring that old crowd in and get them to really embrace the newer movies better, because I know that there's a rift between a lot of Star Wars fans where some are very hardcore, only the originals, and others embrace all of the movies. So it kind of makes me feel like they're not going to make as much money as they're imagining they're going to make. I do feel, however, that it's after the movie is out of theaters that they're doing a lot of promoting, and I think that the largest amount of money that they're going to make is tied to, like, I don't know why, but I'm seeing like the DVD sales, which seems strange, but I think that there's other things tied to it. I feel like merchandise, things tied to merchandise. For whatever reason, it's this feeling that when it first comes out, people are going to take some time to warm up to it. But by the time it comes out on video, I feel like they've had time to promote it to a larger audience, and more people are going to receive it better at that point.
Interesting. Can you see why people aren't quite warming up to it at all?
To me, it feels very much tied to that rift. But I do think that they'll tie some more people in who will give it a chance because of the Harrison Ford aspect. And I'm reshuffling here for just a second. This is interesting too. I know about Comic-Con, but I have no idea how it works. I don't know what times of year they hold it. But I'm kind of getting this feeling, something about the month of June. Is there anything that would make sense to you in relation to an event where this could be promoted? And again, I don't know if this is an award show or this is an event, but that's just the general feeling I'm feeling. Something focused around the month of June tied to this movie.
Interesting.
So let's put that out there. I feel like a large amount of the distrust over the new Star Wars movies is that people are afraid that it's just being used to make money and that not enough heart is going into it. And so I think that's part of the reason that they're bringing the Harrison Ford in, is to kind of bring back old cast members as a way of tying the old to the new, a way for them to indicate to their customer base that they're not trying to cheapen the experience. Obviously, any Hollywood endeavor is somewhat about making money, but that's where a lot of the distrust is coming from. I don't know. I know nowadays, too, movies can come out a little bit sooner than they used to, just because of everything available to us technologically nowadays. But I get 10 as a number standing out to me, 10 weeks or 10 months. I can't be certain, but I really feel like it's going to take just a little bit of time. And see, I'm seeing things in my head like people being interviewed on talk shows after the movie's already in theater. So it makes me feel like a lot of promotion is going on. I see Harrison Ford, and I'm seeing movies or shows like Jimmy Fallon's show and other late night talk shows being a good way for them to reach out to their customer base or to get people to give this a chance. I think that that's the crowd that they're going for. And to me, I would say the reason Jimmy Fallon comes up is it appeals to a large audience base, but you know that a lot of younger people are watching it. I really get the feeling they're going to try to promote this movie to appeal not just to the older generations, but to try and get young people interested in Star Wars, because not that they aren't. I know there's a lot of Lego stuff out there for the kids, but I think they're focusing more on that center between the ages of 17 and mid-20s. I think that that's the group that they're trying to get more excited about it.
So you say it's not going to make as much money as people are hoping. It may not be well received. What about the Star Wars faithful? You know, the people that live and breathe Star Wars. Do you get a vibe at all how they are going to feel about it? I mean, does that many people feeling something make an impression on your cards or your intuition?
Sure. Let me draw on that specifically.
Okay.
Just a second. So we're asking how the hardcore.
Yeah. How are the geeks going to take it? That's what I want to know.
Okay. I definitely feel that they'll be the ones in theaters to view the film. And I'm still sensing this rift between, I just get this sense almost like political, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. Like it feels like a rift within the fan base. To me, I feel like there will be some who are really trying to talk it up, but to me it's like when the other newer movies came out and you heard a lot of, well, just give them a chance. You don't know where this is going to go. We need to see them all together to truly appreciate the the brilliance of what they're doing now. Like, it feels like some people attempting to defend it, but it's more out of loyalty to the whole image of the Star Wars franchise. But then I do have to say, there does feel like I feel not great reviews coming. Reviews specifically from critics, and I feel like I'm even seeing, I don't know, I feel like I'm seeing major newspapers, like the New York Times pops in my head, but that could just be an indication or a symbolic representation of bigger name critics maybe not having the best things to say about it. And they're also, I'm getting this guidance that's saying, even when you're reading reviews of this film after it's been released, really pay attention to the source, because some of the people, and I'm sure this is true of so many films in general, but some of the people providing good reviews are, I feel like, going to be even tied financially to the success of the film. And so oftentimes it's not a fair review of the film. It's meant to bring about mutual profit, is the feeling I'm getting overall.
You must be picking up Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It's a little joke. It's a little joke.
Oh.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, actually, no, go ahead if you have any other questions.
No, I mean, I think you've nailed it. So what we're seeing is that it's not going to be the box office draw that people are hoping, and it's not really going to be as loved, at least initially.
I do have to say this much. Out of all of the newer films, I do feel that this one isn't going to be, and I don't say this, I don't hate the other films by any means, but I'm tuning in, and this is beyond my personal preferences, so I'm just tuning into the general feeling around the film. I feel like there's going to be parts that are admired and parts that aren't, and I do believe that Harrison Ford being in the film is going to bring an element of humor that is going to be enjoyed by the fans that are already a fan of the original movies. But another thing that I was sensing, let me just tune in and refocus. Oh, about the box office too. It does feel like I'd say for the first 2 weeks, there's a rush to the box office, and then things really are slowing down. So that's more of the inclination that I'm getting. But I do think that part of the reason it slows down are some of the reviews that come out. I don't know if you've ever considered going to see a movie and then decided to wait a little bit to see the reviews before deciding to go and see it or something. I feel like a lot of America is doing that, and part of it is influenced by finances. Like, a lot of people maybe who aren't in a financial place to be going to the movies all the time. And I think the online culture has really affected people going to the movies or wanting to spend the money on it, because quite honestly, there are some out there who could find access to it in other ways, let's just say. And so they may not always paying to go see it in the box office. So I think that could also be an influence affecting the financial outcome of the film. But I did too. Was there anything discussed about the woman who had originally played, oh my God, don't stone me, Luke Skywalker's sister?
Princess Leia.
Yeah, was there any mention of her also being in this film?
Yeah, she's gonna be in it as well.
Okay, because I do feel that I saw that in the cards as well. So let me just pull on that specifically, if you don't mind. I have to say, I do get some tingles, I guess, of excitement as I think about it, because in my heart, I, of course, like I said, really, really love the original film. To me, when I look here, I'm definitely seeing some romance dynamics coming out between her and Harrison Ford's character, which would be obvious. But I feel like they're really going to honor the dynamic that was present in the movie, that joking back and forth that they shared that was a little bit like arguing, but at the same time had chemistry. Like, that's still going to come through, I feel. And I also feel too that they're definitely involved, and I'm sure this is kind of general, but they're definitely involved in some adventure scenes together. And I would also say that in this film, at some point, Harrison Ford's life comes into jeopardy, and I feel she plays more of the heroine in saving him. I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there. I could be completely wrong, but that's intuitively what I feel, is that in this film, at some point, she's saving him from some circumstances that are dangerous. And I keep getting images of the movie where when she's captured by Jabba the Hutt. And, you know, they come in to save her. So it's kind of like the tables being turned. And I feel like there is some humor to it overall. But it does make me excited. I might actually have to go and in the theater.
Nice.
So,
This is incredibly vague, no pressure, but there's a lot of mystery about what Luke Skywalker's role in this movie is going to be. We know he's in it. We have no idea how much.
okay, right off of the bat, it feels like it's going to touch on the fact that he has been away or separate from a group of people for a while. Like, I actually pulled the Hermit card, which in tarot is a representation of obviously being off by yourself. And it's the same feeling that of Yoda. Like, he would have been a hermit off on his planet alone, you know? So to me, it's a feeling that they start in the beginning introducing him. Like, it feels like I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him in the same way that Luke once went to go find Yoda. So I'm just going to put that out there first. And it kind of makes me feel like in the film, he's at a point in his life where he's been living a quiet existence away from a lot of people. And I have to say, too, I don't know what this is specifically, but I want to say there's a sense of him losing someone, and this comes up in the film or the dynamic. But it feels like before this movie happened, somebody close to him passed away, and it might have been tied to a relationship that he had. So I'm just going to put that out there right away. So I feel like that's a dynamic that they're bringing up also.
Relationship like friend, relationship like lover.
I'm a little confused about it because on one level, okay, wait, two things. I do want to say that there is something about romance coming up. And I can't tell if that's related to the loss just itself or if it's encompassing also. I feel Obi-Wan Kenobi coming up too. And a card I pulled, a male figure, and to me, it just really speaks of him, a wise figure, somebody who's a spiritual teacher. And so it tells me, too, that at points in the film, he will be calling out to Obi-Wan Kenobi's spirit or something, or some kind of guidance to face the situation. So I see that much. And then I feel this sense of I'm coming to you and I'm asking for your help with something, and then I feel Luke's kind of reluctance and uncertainty, and then something that throws him over the edge and makes him decide to help with whatever. I don't know what the plot is or, you know, what it is to be doing, but it feels like an adventure of some sort, or I have a plan to accomplish something and I need your help. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting generally. And I have to, there has to be something related to romance tied to him also. There is a female, something tied to him that's female. If it's not romance, then it's touching on something with his mother. To me, that's the feeling I get. Touching on something to do with his mom. And I don't know. It feels kind of like flashbacks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there is female energy around him. And I mean, I'm sure that he would come in contact with his sister in the film. That would only make sense. But it just makes me feel like that's the general vibe that I'm getting is I wouldn't be surprised if you find him in a place that, I don't know. It's almost a sense of that wise person who's reached enlightenment and how they just kind of go off and do their own thing and separate from everybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the feeling I feel is where you find him, and then he's drawn back into the adventure app. I'll be interested to see if I'm right. Now I have to wait till December to find out.
You have to wait till December to find out if you're right. Yeah.
No pressure.
None whatsoever. Is there anything else you're getting, or is that pretty much it?
I think that's it.
That's outstanding. All right. So people can find you at guidedlifecoaching.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you offer services like how you advise people?
I do. I can read just generally, and that's the way a lot of people like to start out, just so that they can get a feel, I guess, for how accurate the information coming through is, and that's completely understandable. So we generally start that way and then narrow it down with any questions that the reading initially brings up. But I do a variety of things, and once I were to talk to a client, could kind of narrow it down to give them an experience custom to their needs. I can also be found on Facebook, Guided Life Coaching, and you can find the link on my website directly. And I do have a support group also on Facebook. book for those interested in expanding their intuitive gifts, or if they're having an experience where they feel they need support. There's a lot of other mediums and psychics in the group who offer their advice and support. So it's a really nice, supportive community of people, really open to helping anyone who needs it.
So you're really an Obi-Wan Kenobi yourself.
Well, I have to say, I always loved Obi-Wan Kenobi. But I don't know if I'd quite say that yet. Maybe once. Let's